Folks, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know we bring on the CEO of Hemlane, Dana Dunford. What you may not know is they are perhaps the largest property manager in the country at over 23,000 units. Yes, 23,000 units under management. They currently have a 4.7% satisfaction score with repair coordination, which I have no idea how you do that because repair coordination is very hard and people are always cranky, and have an NPS or net promoter score of 67, which frankly is unheard of. Dana, you guys are rocking and rolling. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been fantastic. It's been a wild ride, as you know, back when we met. I think it was in 2016. But the concept of Hemlane was from 2014. So we've really spent the last 8 years 100% focused on our customers. And it's exciting to see customers really enjoying an alternative for management and jumping on the platform and giving it a try when, hybrid property management is a new concept out there.
Yeah, I just love the fact that the one rental at a time community gets to talk to the largest property manager in the country. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to say it anyway because I think it's fun to say. But you just rolled out a brand new feature, which I think is really, really cool, Eviction Guard. Why don't you talk about what it is? I did note down a couple of questions the audience had, so we will go deeper. But what is Eviction Guard? Why is it game changing for mom and pop landlords?
Yeah. And so those 23,000 rental properties, that makes us the largest property manager for small mom and pop. So not institutional, but the small mom and pop, helping out investors with their properties. And with that, one of the things that, if you look at the journey of being a landlord, you look at the pain points of when is it an emotional time to be a landlord?
Yeah.
And hands down, it actually happens to be at those points where you're losing rent or money, or there's not enough communication from a tenant. And so we basically came in with Eviction Guard as a solution to non-payment of rent. The concept behind Eviction Guard is not to evict a tenant. Eviction Guard is to prevent an eviction from happening. And if you think about evictions and delinquency rates in the US, it's about you would say 2% if you take out if you take out the institutional and stuff like that. What is that eviction rate across the US nationwide? And when you look at that 2% and look at the details, at least from our side, what we've seen is usually it's not a tenant not paying rent because they're trying to avoid it and get by for free. Usually there's some other circumstance that's impacting it, a loss in jobs, inability to budget properly, whatever it may be. And so Eviction Guard does a couple of things. The first is mediation. We go in as a third party to say, tenant, we're here to help you. What's going on? And it's really interesting because when you turn the conversation from, why haven't you paid me my rent? This is a legally binding contract to, hey, we're here to help you with rent. Is it that you can't get it set up in the system? We're here to help with that. Is there something else going on that we could help with? Suddenly you flip it and the tenant will tell you more than they may otherwise tell you. And communication and knowledge and having all the facts is really, really important to understand next steps. Because if you have a situation where it's a professional tenant who is just trying to get by with things and not pay their rent, you would take a different course of action than one who potentially has lost their job, needs money from their parents to help them pay the next day, needs a transition plan to get an early termination on the lease because they can't afford it anymore. And so that's what Eviction Guard is to help with that mediation. Now, certain cases, mediation doesn't work, and we do go to a process server, and that process server goes and serves the notice to the tenant. They can do it up to 4 times. So you can select to have it in person 4 times. It's over a 10-day period. You can have, based on your state laws, and we have this all in the system, you could have it where they serve the notice, but then it's sent via certified mail. There's multiple different ways to do it, posted on the door, but based on your state's laws, there will be recommendations in the system of what path to go. And what we're trying to do is make it less emotional for the real estate investor, but also less emotional for the tenant as well.
Yeah. I think again, you're doing something in Hemlane is identifying points of friction. Obviously, the first one was going to be repair coordination, which again, you know, you have a 4.7% satisfaction. So you hit that really well. Eviction Guard was a great ad. I think you talked about the price point last week. It's a little bit of an add-on feature. What is that?
Yeah, so it's $4.95 per month for us to do Eviction Guard. And basically, every month we look at your payments, what tenants are behind on rent. And then we're going to proactively on the third business day, those settings will change where you can update them. But we say the third business day after they are late, we will be making those calls and logging those for you of what happened. Now, this is totally separate of the late fees. The late fees will still be automatic in the system, all of that. This is more of communication with through a mediator with the tenant.
Yeah. We did get a couple questions. One of the ones that I remember was, can I just buy Eviction Guard?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can't, and here's why.
Yeah. I would think that was the answer, but I had to ask.
But I do have another solution for that person.
Okay.
I do have another solution for that person. So the reason you can't is because we also need the payments to go through Hemlane and to try to encourage them to pay. So we are not hounding you every day to say, did they pay you a check in the mail? Did they say it was sent in the mail? So that's one of the reasons for it. The other reason is communication is really important, and communication goes with phone, text, and email.
Correct.
And we do all three. Now, the tenant may opt out of text message and say, I don't want text message, which is totally fine. They can set those preferences. But the reason is we need to meet the tenant in how they want to communicate. And if they haven't heard of Hemlane and we suddenly have a mediator calling them, they might say, I don't understand this, right? Like,
yeah, who is this? Is this fraud? Yeah.
Why am I getting these random emails from Hemlane? And so that is the other point is, hey, this is part of the property management package. I do have a solution for that person.
Okay.
They can go on our 14-day free trial. They can add the tenants into the property. And then we have something called pre-eviction. It's the exact same service, but it's a flat rate where you just pay a one-time $4.95. And now that's $495, not $4.95. So it's significantly more money. But you can pay that and we will do the process on whatever tenant you have that's past due on rent. So you could just go through that process and get the tenant set up and go through it. And that's just a one-time, hey, I just want this one time. The Eviction Guard is more of overtime ongoing.
Right.
So if you have a tenant who's late every single month, they are going to get a call from a mediator every single month. And so that's the benefit of Eviction Guard versus pre-eviction. You're paying for every single one. Whenever someone is past due, then you would pay.
Yeah, when I look at what you're building at Hemlane, these Lego blocks that are sticking together, right? You come out, you're providing advertising via automated way. Even Dion loves it, and he's kind of known as the lazy landlord. Now you have Eviction Guard, you have repair coordination, you have the audit. The audit trail was the big thing to me. We talked about that way back in 2016 and 17. It was impossible to do before systems like Hemlane. Now you have different layers or services. Just putting together a really nice product, and to see that you have 23,000 units that are being managed with Hemlane is so impressive. Dana, if somebody wanted to get that trial and try it out, how would they do that?
Yeah, you can go to www.hemlane, which is HEMLANE.com, and then click try for free and mention one rental at a time, because you do get 20% off your first year.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Dana.
Great. Thanks.